So good morning. I want to spend a moment acknowledging that today is March 9th, 2021. It is the day after March 8th, 2021. And March 8th, 2020 was the last time that the Adat Shalom building was open to the entire community. And that was for the Purim Spiel. So we're in this season, if you will, of the anniversary of the pandemic. The pandemic actually started earlier, and each of us has a seminal moment, I suspect, of when it really started for us and really hit us that this was real and really unpleasant, and we were really unprepared. I think it's very, very important to acknowledge anniversaries. And part of the reason I think it's so important is because oftentimes our bodies remember the anniversary and we have reactions, maybe emotional reactions, that we're not connecting to the anniversary. And once we can make that connection, oftentimes it helps us deal a little bit more effectively with whatever emotions are coming up. So I thought it was really important to acknowledge that yesterday is the 1-year anniversary for essentially the closing of the building. There were 2 Shabbat services that were held at the building after Purim, but both of those were limited just to the B'nai Mitzvah families. And the rest of us were streaming in. In 2 weeks, we're going to be noting the 1-year anniversary of our weekly Tuesday meditations. And, that's mind-boggling to me. Certainly, it never occurred to me when we started that we would still be doing this a year later. And we are still doing this a year later, and we will continue. Those of us who want to. I will continue. I'll say that. So in 2 weeks, we're going to mark that because anniversaries are important. So just kind of take a moment and breathe into this knowing and this recognition. Sorry about that. Today, we're going to talk about this week's Torah portion. And the Parsha this week, Vayachel, focuses on the actual building of the Mishkan. It's very specific. However, the Parsha starts with a discussion about the importance of Shabbat and the importance of the other 6 days. Centering Shabbat before going into the specifics of the Mishkan's construction is important. So before we get into the details of the holy work of building the Mishkan, we're instructed to rest. So there's a real beauty in this. Centering Shabbat and centering rest seems to me to be centering self-care. It's as though we're being told, watch out. I'm sorry. My devices are all connected, so I keep getting interrupted. So it's as though we're being told to watch out, because if you become too absorbed in your work, you're going to burn out and you'll be useless. So take care and remember to rest. Remember to take care of yourself. That's a grandchild who is now trying me on every single device. But that's because he's feeling guilty because I texted him a week ago and he's first responding now. So we can let this go. However, it's very distracting to me because now my home phone is ringing, the landline. So what this reminds me of is that we're being told, just hang in there. This is for the long term. So you need to keep taking a rest. You need to allow yourself that luxury. And it reminded me of this. I don't know if you can all see it, but this is from Pirkei Avot. You are not required to complete the task, yet you are not free to withdraw from it. Whatever the work is, even the work of building the Mishkan, it'll be there. Set aside some time to rest. So I think that that's really valuable. So we bracket that. Moses instructs the people to bring gifts. And he says specifically, take from among you gifts to Yud-Heh Vav-Heh. Everyone whose heart is so moved shall bring them. And then there's this whole long list of what the gifts should be. Gold and silver and copper and fabrics and yarns and animal skins and oils and spices and woods and various gemstones. So there are two things that I think are really important about this. One is that everyone is invited to give whatever they could contribute. The other is that people were incredibly generous. We read further in the Parsha that men and women, all whose hearts moved them, all who could make an elevation offering, came bringing, and there's a whole long list of the kinds of things that were brought. The Parsha goes into great detail about the gifts that were brought and all the artisans who came to work on the Mishkan. Everyone was so generous that in Exodus 36:5, we read that the artisans said to Moses, the people are bringing more than is needed for the tasks entailed in the work that Yud-Heh Vav-Heh has commanded be done. So Moses thanks everybody and asks them to stop bringing their offerings. The people were so generous and gave from their hearts. It's as though the act of giving generated even greater generosity. And they went back and found more that they could give. So I wonder, does this happen for us? The more we give or do in service of others, the more we want to give. Part of what's so lovely about the description in this Parsha of the people's generosity is that different people had different things to contribute. Together, everyone gave what they could. The actual item, be it yarn or gold or wood or silver, and the amount that they could. The way I read it was that some people may have given some yarn, for example, and then they went home and saw, oh, I still have yarn. I can give more. And they gave more. So this combination to me of really being so generous that you just want to keep giving and giving, that comes from the heart, needs to also be put into play with take a rest, don't overdo. So let's get ready to take our seats and settle in for some quiet meditation. So I invite you to check your posture. If you're sitting in a chair, please have your feet flat on the floor. And really lift from your pelvis all the way up so that you're elongating your spine. Check your chin. You want the bottom of your chin to be parallel to the floor so you're not putting any, excuse me, stress on the back of your neck. And notice where your body is in contact, pardon me, with the floor or the chair or the cushion. And allow yourself to feel supported as you are sitting in an erect posture. And now I invite you to take a couple of cleansing breaths, breathing in as deeply as you comfortably can, holding that breath for a moment, and then exhaling fully and slowly through your mouth. Doing this twice more at your own pace. And now, as you settle into rhythmic, unforced breathing, I invite you to allow these two questions to just kind of float in the back of your mind. What are my gifts? What can I contribute? And the instruction here is not to focus on these questions as you sit, but rather offer the question up and then let it go. And then see what comes up for you during this period of quiet meditation. And as your mind wanders, simply come back to paying attention to your breath. as you come back to the room, I'd like to share this poem with you. Do not try to save the whole world or do anything grandiose. Instead, create a clearing in the dense forest of your life and wait there patiently until the song that is yours alone to sing falls into your own cupped hands and you recognize and greet it. Only then will you know how to give yourself to this world so worth of rescue. So the